Xi Jinping of China has just ordered his troops to surround Taiwan, claiming it's just ordinary military drills. But many believe it's a strategic move to take over Taiwan. In this video, we'll dive into the complex history between China and Taiwan, uncover the reasons behind China's aggressive stance, and why they desperately want to take over Taiwan. We will also explore America's role in this situation. You already know what time it is, so let's clock in. Chapter 1, Tug of War.
China is launching 2 days of military drills surrounding Taiwan. Just days after the island swore in its new president, China views the democratically governed island as a rightful part of its own territory.
Before we uncover the reasons behind China's aggressive stance towards Taiwan, we must go back in history to understand where all of the tension came from. A long time ago, Taiwan was part of China's Qing dynasty. But in 1895, after losing a war to Japan, China had to give Taiwan to Japan. For the next 50 years, Taiwan was ruled by Japan and became modernized. After World War II in 1945, Japan lost the war and Taiwan was handed back to China. But things were not simple. At that time, China was going through a civil war between two groups, the nationalists and the communists. The communists, led by Mao Zedong, won the war in 1949 and took control of mainland China. They called their new government the People's Republic of China, PRC. The nationalists, led by Chiang Kai-shek, did not want to give up. They fled to Taiwan and set up their own government there, still calling it the Republic of China, ROC. So now, there were two governments, each claiming to be the real government of all of China. During the Cold War, Taiwan became a close friend of the United States. The U.S. promised to help and protect Taiwan. In 1979, the U.S. decided to officially recognize the government in mainland China, the PRC.
The United States recognizes the government of the People's Republic of China as a sole legal government of China.
But it still kept friendly ties with Taiwan through a special law called the Taiwan Relations Act. Fast forward to today, Taiwan has become a strong and democratic place with its own identity. People in Taiwan see themselves as different from those in mainland China. Meanwhile, China has become a global superpower and wants Taiwan to be part of it again. China says Taiwan is a part of China and has even threatened to use force to make this happen if needed. Understanding this history helps us see why there is so much tension between China and Taiwan today. It's a beef that has been roasting for centuries between the different governments and national pride. Speaking of national pride, this leads me to answer the question, why is Taiwan so important to China? One China. So China wants Taiwan to be part of them for some very important reasons that go beyond just land and resources. China believes that Taiwan has always been a part of its territory. This idea goes back many centuries. The Chinese government wants to bring Taiwan back under its control because they think it's part of their country's history and identity. They call this idea One China, meaning they believe there should be only one China, including Taiwan. For the leaders in China, getting Taiwan back would be like finishing a big puzzle. When the communists took over China in 1949, they couldn't get Taiwan, so they felt like their job wasn't done. Bringing Taiwan back would make them feel like they have completed the country. The Chinese government, called the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, wants people to trust and believe in them. If they can bring Taiwan back, it would show that they are strong and capable leaders. This would make people in China and around the world respect them more. Reuniting with Taiwan would make the people of China feel proud of their country. It would show that China is powerful and can bring all Chinese-speaking people together. If China controls Taiwan, it would have a lot more influence over the countries nearby. This means other countries in the Asia-Pacific region would be more likely to listen to China, and follow its lead. It would showcase China as a dominant force. Getting Taiwan back would also make China look more powerful on the global stage. It would help China become an even bigger player in global politics and economics. Understanding these political and ideological factors helps us see why controlling Taiwan is so important to China. Before we talk about the reasons why China wants to control Taiwan, let's talk about the role the United States plays in this ongoing conflict between the two. Monkey in the middle. The United States played a big part in the China-Taiwan conflict. A long time ago, in 1979, the United States made a special law called the Taiwan Relations Act. This law says that the U.S. will help Taiwan if China tries to take it over by force. This means the U.S. promises to provide Taiwan with weapons and support to defend itself. Moreover, the United States gives Taiwan a lot of military help. This includes selling Taiwan advanced weapons like fighter jets and missiles to help them protect themselves. The U.S. also has a strong economic relationship with Taiwan, trading many goods and services. This trade helps keep Taiwan's economy strong and stable. If China tries to take over Taiwan, the United States is supposed to send its military to help defend Taiwan. The U.S. also works with other countries nearby, like Japan and South Korea, to be ready to help if there is trouble. If China attacks Taiwan, the United States could put economic sanctions on China. Sanctions are like economic punishments, making it harder for China to do business with other countries. This would hurt China's economy and make it more difficult for them to continue their actions. The issue of Taiwan makes things tense between the United States and China. They often disagree and argue about what should happen with Taiwan. The U.S. tries to talk to China and work out these disagreements through diplomacy, which means solving problems by talking and negotiating instead of fighting. What happens with Taiwan affects not just the U.S. and China, but the whole world. Many countries watch closely because it could change international relationships and alliances. If the U.S. helps Taiwan, it shows that it stands by its friends and allies, which can influence other global political situations. Understanding the role of the United States helps us see how big and complicated the Taiwan issue is. The U.S. plays a crucial part in supporting Taiwan and trying to keep peace in the region. But why does China really want Taiwan so desperately? The Golden Goose. Taiwan is very important to China for a few big reasons. For starters, Taiwan is prime real estate. Taiwan is like a giant gate in the ocean. It sits right in the middle of some of the world's busiest shipping routes. Every day, many ships carry goods like oil, electronics, and clothes. Now, why does China care about this? Because of economic control. By keeping an eye on all of the ships passing through, China can make sure it gets the supplies it needs and can even control or influence the flow of goods to other countries. This is very important for China's economy and for making sure they are respected as a country. Number 2 is military power. Imagine Taiwan as a giant aircraft carrier that doesn't move. It's in the perfect spot for China to watch over a big part of the Pacific Ocean. Taiwan would act as a defensive barrier and help China protect its shores from any possible attacks. Having Taiwan would make it harder for other countries, like the United States, to get close to China's mainland. Last but not least, the third reason is those damn computer chips. Taiwan is famous for making high-tech computer chips, which are used in everything from smartphones to cars to computers. Taiwan's computer chips are very important for many countries. By controlling Taiwan, China would have access to these advanced technologies, increasing China's chance at leading the tech industry, which would stimulate China's economy even more. So, it's about history, pride, power, and technology. But one of the biggest reasons is Taiwan's microchips. These tiny chips are super important for making everything from smartphones to cars. Controlling Taiwan means having control over these valuable microchips. Understanding this helps us see why Taiwan is so important to China and the world. If you want to learn more about microchips and how they affect the future, check out our video, The Truth About Investing in AI Stocks, where we talk about the top semiconductor stocks. Stay curious and keep learning, and continue to really get money worldwide. Money